Om Sai Ram. Sri Sai Sacharita, Chapter 22. Rescues from the Serpent Bites. Balasaheb Mirkar, Babu Sahib Bhuti, Amir Sarkar, Hemant Pant, Baba's opinion regarding the killing of serpents. Preliminary. How to meditate on Baba. No one has been able to fathom the nature of the form of the Almighty. Even the Vedas and the thousand-tongued Shisha are not able to describe it fully. The devotees also cannot know, but only look at the form of the Lord, for they know that His feet are their only refuge. They know no other method of attaining the supreme goal of life except meditating on His holy feet. Hemant Pant suggests an easy way of devotion and meditation as follows. As the dark fortnight of every month wears out gradually, the moonlight also wanes in the same degree, and on the new moon day, we do not see the moon at all. Therefore, when the bright fortnight begins, people are very anxious to see the moon. On the first day, the moon is not seen. On the second day, she emerges in a thin crescent. Then the people are asked to see the moon through the opening between the two branches of a tree. When they begin to see it through the aperture eagerly, the distant small crescent of the moon comes to their sight. Following this distance, let us see Baba's form. Look at Baba's posture, how fine it is. He is sitting with his legs folded, the right leg across the left knee. The fingers of his left hand are spread on the right foot. On the toe are spread his two fingers, the index and the middle one. By this posture, Baba seems to say, if you want to see me, my true form, be egoless, most humble, and meditate on my toe through the opening between my index finger and middle finger. And then you will be able to see my light. Now let us turn to Baba's life. Shirdi had become a place of pilgrimage on account of Baba's stay there. People from all quarters began to flock, and both rich and poor began to be benefited in more ways than one. Who can describe Baba's boundless love and his wonderful knowledge and his all-pervasiveness? Blessed is he who could experience these. Sometimes Baba observed long silence, which was in a way his dissertation on Brahman. At other times, he was pure consciousness, bliss incarnate, surrounded by his devotees. Sometimes he spoke in parables, and other times indulged in wit and humor. At times he was quite calm, and at times he seemed enraged. Sometimes he gave his teachings in a nutshell, and other times he argued at length. Many a time he was very direct. In this way, Baba gave varied instructions to many according to their requirements. His life was therefore inscrutable, beyond the ken of our mind, intellect, and speech. Our longing to see his face, to talk to him and hear his leelas was never satisfied. Still, we were overflowing with joy. We can gauge the showers of rain, capture the wind in the leather bag, but who can measure his leelas? Now we deal here with one aspect of him, how he anticipated or forestalled the calamities of his devotees and warned them in time. Balasaheb Mirkar. Balasaheb Mirkar, son of Sardar Kakasaheb Mirkar, was a Mamlatdar of Kopargaon. He was going on tour to Chitali. On the way, he came to Shirdi to see Baba. When he went to the masjid and prostrated himself before Baba, the usual conversation regarding the health and other matters commenced. When Baba sounded a note of warning, "Do you know our Dwarka Mai?" As Baba Sahib did not understand, he kept quiet. Baba continued, "This is our Dwarka Mai, where you are sitting. She wards off the dangers and anxieties of her children who sit on her lap. This Masjid Mai, the presiding deity, is very merciful. She is merciful mother of the simple devotees, whom she will save in calamities. Once a person sits on her lap, all his troubles are over. He who rests her in her shade gets bliss." Then Baba gave up Hudi, placed his hand on his head. When Bala Sahib was about to depart, he said, "Do you know that Lamba Baba, the long gentleman, serpent?" And then closing his left fist, he brought it under the right elbow and moving his left arm like a hood of the serpent said, "He is so terrible. But what can he do to the children of Dwarka Mai when Dwarka Mai The presiding deity protects. What can the serpent do? All who were present they were curious to know the meaning of all this and its reference to Mihirkar, but none had the courage to ask Baba about this. Then Baba Allah Sahib saluted Baba and left Masjid with Shama. Baba called Shama back and asked him to accompany Bala Sahib and enjoy the Chitali trip. Shama came to Bala Sahib and told him that he would go with him according to Baba's wish. Bala Sahib replied that he did not come as it would be inconvenient. Then Shama returned to Baba and told him what Bala Sahib had told him. Baba said, "All right, do not go. We should mean well and do well. Whatever is destined to happen will happen." In the meanwhile, Bala Sahib thought over again and calling Shama asked him to accompany him. Then Shama went again to Baba and after taking his leave, started with Bala Sahib in the Tonga. They reached Chitali at 9 p.m. and encamped in the Maruti temple. The chit-chatting was going on with Bala Sahib. Bala Sahib sitting on the mat, reading a newspaper. His upper knee, the upper dhotar, was spread across his waist, and on it a snake was sitting unnoticed. It began to move with a hissing sound, which was heard by the peon. He brought a lantern and saw the snake and raised an alarm, "Serpent, serpent." Bala Sahib was frightened and began to shiver. Shama was also stunned, and then he and others moved quietly and took the sticks and clubs in their hands, and the snake slowly got down the waist and moved away from Bala Sahib and was immediately done to death. This calamity, which was prophesied by Baba, was averted, and Bala Sahib's devotion to Baba was confirmed. Babu Sahib Bhuti, a great astrologer named Nana Sahib Dengle, told Babu Sahib Bhuti, who was then in Shirdi, "Today is an inauspicious day for you. There is a danger in your life." This made Babu Sahib restless, and when they, as usual, went to the masjid, Baba said to Babu Sahib, "What does his Nana say? He foretells death for you? Well, you need not be afraid. Tell him, let us see how death kills." Then later in the evening, Babu Sahib went to the privy for easing himself when he saw a snake. His servant saw it, lifted a stone to strike it. Babu Sahib asked him to get big stick, but before the servant returned with the stick, the snake was seen moving away and soon disappeared. Babu Sahib remembered Baba's words of fearlessness. Amir Sarkar. Amir Sarkar was a native of the village Korle in Kopargaon Taluka. He belonged to the butcher caste. He worked at the commission agent in Bandra and was well known there. He once suffered from rheumatism, which gave him much pain. He then remembered Allah. He left his business and went to Shirdi and prayed to Baba to relieve him from this malady. Baba then stationed him at Chavdi. This Chavdi was then a damp, unhealthy place, unfit for such patient. Any other place in the village or Kotla itself would have been better. But Baba's words was a command, the chief medicine. Baba did not allow him to come to the masjid but fixed him at Chavdi. Every morning and evening, every alternate day, Baba went to Chavdi in procession and slept there. So Amir got Baba's contact very often. Amir stayed there for a full 9 months and then he got disgusted of the places. So one night he stealthily left the place and came to Kopargaon and stayed in a dharmashala. There he saw an old dying fakir who asked him for water. Amir brought him and gave it to him. As soon as he drank, he passed away. Now Amir was in a fix. He thought that if he went and informed the authorities, he would be held responsible for the death, as he was the first and sole informant and knew something about it. He repented for his action, leaving Shirdi without Baba's permission, and prayed to Baba. He then determined to return Shirdi and stay. Same night he retreated, remembering and muttering Baba's name all the way, and reached Shirdi before daybreak and became free from anxiety. Then he lived in Chavdi in perfect accordance to Baba's wishes and orders and got himself cured. One night it so happened that Baba cried at the midnight, "Oh Abdul, some devilish creature is dashing against the side of my bed." Abdul came with a lantern, examined Baba's bed and found nothing. Baba asked him to examine carefully all the places and began to strike the ground with a satka. Seeing this Leela of Baba, Amir thought that Baba might have suspected some serpent there. Amir could now know by close contact of Baba the meaning of his words and his actions. Baba then saw near Amir's cushion something moving. He called Abdul to bring the light, and when it was brought, he saw the serpent coiled up there, moving its head and up and down. Therefore, the serpent was immediately beaten to death. Thus, Baba gave timely warning and saved Amir's life. Hemant Pant's Scorpion and Serpent. First story. At Baba recommendation, Kaka Sahib Dishit was daily reading the two works of Sri Eknath Maharaj, Bhagwat and Bhavartha Ramayana. And Hemant Pant had the good fortune to be one of the audience when the reading of the works was going on. Once, when a portion from the Ramayana relating to Hanuman's testing Rama's greatness, according to his mother's instruction, was being read, all the listeners were spellbound. Hemant Pant was one of them. A big scorpion, none knew where it came from, jumped up and sat on the right shoulder of Hemant Pant on his upper knee. Upper dhotar. First, it was not noticed, but the Lord protects those who are intent in hearing his stories. He casually cast a glance over his right shoulder and noticed it. It was dead silent, not a bit moving here and there. It seemed as if it was enjoying the reading, and then, by Lord's grace, Hemant Pant, without disturbing the audience, took the two ends of his dorsal, folded them, and brought them together, enclosing the scorpion within. And then he went out and threw it in the garden. On another occasion, some persons were sitting in the upper floor of the Kaka Sahib's wada just before nightfall when a serpent crept through the hole in the window frame and sat and coiled up. At night, it was brought. Though it was first dazzled, yet it sat still and moved his head and up and down. Then many persons rushed there with the sticks and cuddles, but it sat there in awkward position. No blow could be dealt. On hearing the noises of the men, the serpent went out hastily through the same hole. Then all the persons present there felt relieved. Baba's opinion. One devotee named Muktaram then said that it was good that the poor creature escaped. Hemant Pant challenged him, saying the serpent should not be better killed. There was a lot of discussion between them. The former contending serpents and other creatures should not be killed. Later that they should be killed. As night came on, the discussion came to an end without any decision being arrived. Next day, the question was referred to Baba, who gave him a settled opinion as follows. God lives in all beings and creatures, whether they are serpents or scorpions. He is the great wire puller of the world, and all serpents, scorpions, etc. obey his command. Unless he wills it, nobody can do any harm to the others. The world is all dependent on him, and no one is independent. So we should take pity and love all creatures, leave off killing and be patient. The Lord is the protector of all. Bow to Sri Sai. Peace be to all. Om Sai Ram.